and say which one is which. And if it's coronals, that would mean which one is anterior and which one is posterior. So this is one of the ones where I would show both sides and say which one is which. There's only a small number where you have to infer what the other side looks like from the one side that you can see. This happens to be one of them. Now, take a look at this side of this one. And then I'm going to go back to the other side, and the question will be, which one is more posterior? Okay, now take a look at this side. Look at major things like basal nuclei and so on, and their relative sizes and things like that. And then I will flip it over and do the same thing and then draw a conclusion about which one is more posterior. Okay? Now I'm going to flip it. All right, now take a look at this side. And then just wait until everyone has seen Okay, now the question is, which side is more posterior?
The other side.
How do you know that?
Because you can see the
Well, this one has a little internal capsule, but that's true. But also, what else?
Can we go back to the other one then?
Yeah. Well, on this side, the putamen is smaller and the head of the caudate is bigger. When I flip it, you'll see that the proportions are reversed, which says posterior. Okay, now, no, this side is anterior. The other side is more posterior. Well, on this side, you can see a smaller putamen and a larger head of the caudate. On the flip side, the proportions are reversed.
If we wrote internal capsule, would it be right?
Well, this one, yeah, there's more internal capsule on the flip side. This is more anterior. There's the putamen and there's the head of the caudate.
Yeah, okay.
You see, there's the putamen and there's the head of the caudate. There's the putamen and there's the head of the caudate.
This is more superior? Isn't that superior?
No, this side.
No, but isn't that side?
Yeah, this side is more superior. That's just more inferior.
Then where's the head?
Well, this space is more anterior.
Yeah, I know that. But
That's what I'm asking about.
But isn't?
So for coronals, for any section, I'll be asking about the section face. Which is which. So for horizontals, that would be which is more superior, which is more inferior, or which is more inferior. For coronals, it's which is more anterior, which is more posterior. Okay, because coronals show from superior to inferior, or from superior to inferior, and lateral to lateral, but not anterior to posterior. So that means these section faces are a succession of more anterior or more posterior section faces. Whereas in horizontal sections, you see a succession. Well, in both horizontals and coronals, you see lateral to lateral. But then in addition to that, in coronals, you see from superior to inferior. But not, you see from anterior to posterior in coronals, rather. But not from superior to, no, excuse me, you see from superior to inferior, but not from anterior to posterior. Whereas in horizontals, you see lateral to lateral, you do that in both, and you can see from anterior to posterior, but not from superior to inferior.
I don't know, it's amazing.
Yes.
It's bugging me out.
Now I want to flip this over.
Are you going to say, but yeah, we're asking, even with this one, are you going to say, I know it's a slice, but.
Yes, but for most sections, I will show both sides, including for this one. There's only certain sections where you have to infer the other side. This is one of them. The number where you have to infer what the other side is like and what you see on one side is small, though. This is one of them, where there's some giveaway, such as, obviously, if you can see the poles of the anterior horns, they're dead ending there. There must be just centrum semiovale on the other side and no lateral ventricles at all, so this must be the posterior side. And there are a few others like that where you see a particular thing that can only be viewed from anterior or only from posterior, which answers the question. But for something like this, where you can see the head of the caudate and the putamen on both sides, it's just a matter of relative proportions, I would show both sides. Okay? So you've seen this. There's the putamen, and this whole thing's the head of the caudate. Now let's flip it.
Whoa.
Okay, so now you can see this through this, now I could pour off some fluid and open this up, but this is the lid over here, which is shallower. So I would have to pour off fluid if I open it up. Okay, so now take a look and notice you see a larger volume of putamen and a smaller volume of head of the quarter. You see that? So that says this is more posterior. Now it is true you see more of the internal capsule. Now, I want to ask a question about that after I just show this.
What did you just say?
See now on this side you see more putamen and less head of the quarter. But on the other side. So that says that this side is more posterior. See, look at the size of the putamen and the size of the head of the quarter. Then look at this side. You see that? Look at the size of the head of the caudate and the size of the putamen. You see, so this is more anterior. No, let's see, does this have a lid on it? This is the head of the caudate, and that is putamen. And there's a little bit of...
There's no difference.
So
Columns in D.
no. Yes.
Dying
Here,
pink.
see over here, see some white over there?
No.
I can see it.
You're like the only one who can see it, except all of us.
You see,
We should all get Zeiser's glasses.
well, here we're in the territory of the very anterior part of the anterior limb of the internal capsule. So you see some putamen and some head of the quarter, and with cellular bridges crossing through the white. Yeah. Now, see little patches of white there. That is as much of as you can see. Look for in between the brown, which is what the gray oxidized